Welcome, everyone. Oh, jeez. I do wear my emotions on my sleeve. I want to gravely apologize for the last video stream that I deleted. Um, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I do wear my emotions on my sleeve. I apologize for the length of time. The reason for the length of time, 14 months, is because of health issues, sponsorship, lack of participation, outsourcing. There are all kinds of different things. I don't want you guys to think that this thing looks like a car, clown car. I don't believe it does. This is conducive to the era of classic vintage cars. This was a 1980s special. This is something that they were doing back then. Even the colors, the fuchsia, purple color, metal flake was a thing of the 80s. And so we decided to go with those colors. But for lack of participation, the blue and the black that we incorporated in there, we decided at that point that we should go ahead and go with something that complements the color purple. Now, knowing that the car is going to be purple, we went ahead and complemented it with a color that would complement purple. That would be that metallic blue that we used. So, everybody did have a chance to chime in, and we did talk about these colors way back a while ago, where the comments did not come in, and the ones that did come in, the few comments that did come in, they were few and far between. So we decided to go ahead and go with those colors. Uh, Again, let's look at the length of time here. The reason that it took so long, okay, is because of health issues. Like I said before, endovascular arterial repair is nothing to take lightly. Conway Twitty actually passed away from this. I think he was on tour, and between cities, he had an event where where the aorta had ruptured, and he bled to death. And so before he got to the next city, he actually was already dead. So this is something I had to take care of for my health issues and stuff like that. And believe me when I tell you, if you have to have something like this done, don't take it lightly. This is a life saving event that needs to be done. Um, Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be sitting here in front of the camera right now talking to you guys. Now, I'm trying to figure out where okay, yeah, all right, I'm trying to figure out where the camera is on this new phone that I have. But long story short, the participation was not there. The sponsorship was not there. We actually did find a sponsor for the foam, USA Foam of Indiana, and they stepped up for a donation of the foam. Our embroidery specialist had some problems with her setup, and well, we just had a lot of things that we probably could have done. Looking back on it, I'm going to say this: we probably should have done the embroidery ourselves. Um, I'm not saying that we could have done a better job. I am saying that we could have done it. In one of my earlier videos, you could see a embroidery machine in the background. That's the one I would have used. The vector file had gotten lost. We had tried to locate it. I cleared maybe 4 different computers trying to find the vector file for the CoverCats logo. A few things had gone wrong with that, but I am not going to be picky. We had some problems with the background. The background should have been filled in black. Um, the foreground white color thread was used. That was correct. Should have been silver though. The eyes should have been black. The little pupils of the eyes should have been black. But other than that, the work that a computer does is flawless. Can't really pick it apart because it was a computerized, generated image. The butterflies looked great. The no lupus looked great. Everything looked great on this overall. As a matter of fact, I would pit this interior against any other interior that I have done before in the past. So, with that being said, if anybody out there actually thinks it looks like a clown car, you're on your own. These colors were conducive to that era. Um, as a matter of fact, I mean, I actually wanted to do everything, different, but because I didn't get any participation, it didn't work out that way. Uh, the review of the reviews, my review of the reviews is of no consequence, even though I have a platform. I have you, the viewer, I have the audience of people who actually tune into this particular live stream. I want to thank you for coming in. Um, I'm only seeing two people looking at the stream. One of them is probably myself. But I want you guys to know that there was um, a, a pretty good length of time that we had, you know, that had gone by 14 months. So in that time, there have been other issues that are going around here. So there was the EVAR, the endovascular arterial repair. I had to recover from that. Even during all this time, there are a lot of people out there that would probably call me a warrior because I went back to work 3 weeks before I was supposed to, and it caused more health problems. So there were a lot of people begging for their work, begging or not begging. They don't beg. They usually call up and demand, "Hey, where's my stuff?" But I have endured well over 15 years of that. So it's now these days it's we come to expect it. The only problem with that is they become sometimes verbally abusive. Uh, I can tell you that there is one contractor that I work with and just been working with him for years, but it seems like every time I get scathed by the comments that come in, it seems like I should probably say to myself, well, my wife says it for me. Why do you even deal with them? And I tell her, well, there are repeat customers and the work speaks for itself. Only problem is that they get impatient and sometimes they become verbally abusive. Matt is not one of those people. Matt has the patience of a saint, and so do all of you because a lot of those comments probably could have came in. Some phone calls probably could have come in and said, "Hey, what are you trying to do to Matt?" Well, we're not trying to do anything to Matt. We have had a lot of things going on. Let me bounce back to what I was talking about. The EVAR, that was one. Financial issues, job issues, weather issues. I'm going to tell you, we've endured a lot of stuff around here. And just recently, about maybe a week and a half before Matt even came down here, $450 had to be spent out to pump out a septic tank. And right after that, we had to get risers for the septic tank, two of them, a lid for one of the access ports for the septic tank had been destroyed. I'm not sure how that happened. It might have been just a used septic tank when they even dropped it into the ground. But apparently, there was a small circular um, piece where it looked like someone was trying to access the filter, and they were just going to brutalize that lid without even taking it off or uncovering or doing the minimum requirement to get the lid off of there so that they can, access the um, filter. So it looks like they had covered everything back up. Well, long story short, because of that, we had some other issues with the septic tank and the field line, what they call the leach lines and stuff like that. So all in all, looking back on that, that was an $850 outpouring of money that probably didn't have to even be done. Um, there was a time when I was actually frequently uploading videos or trying to keep up with the supply and demand of the live streams and stuff like that. But again, I could not get enough people interested in the Tango build to tune in. I don't have the subscriber base that Matt's got, which is really cool. Well over 10,000 subscribers. Great. I wish I had more, but if I sound like I am wearing my emotions on my sleeve, I good. Um, your reviews are. I value your opinions. I value your input. I just want you to know that there are a lot of people out there that may be better at critiquing movies or critiquing food. But unless someone is willing to sit down behind a sewing machine and go through the experience of having to take something apart at the seams, put it back together the same way it was put back to assembled in the first place with different colors, different themes, different everything, adjust and revamp the foam to give more comfort and I'm talking about the flanks of the lean back of that seat where we literally changed the dynamics of that lean back so that it would keep you from shifting side to side as much. um, Unless anybody's got that kind of talent, I would really try to keep those comments a little bit more friendly, because those kind of comments right there, I can't really take to heart, because they're not the ones sitting behind the sewing machine. They're not the ones doing the sewing, and they're not sitting there pulling the seams apart. And they don't have to deal with a very temperamental sewing machine that drops stitches every once in a while. So just you guys bear with me here. Let me move the mail out of the way. I just went out to the mailbox and got a bunch of mail. That sewing machine right there, you can see, is aged and worn. Almost $600 worth of repairs had to be done. I had to replace a cam. I had to do a lot of things to this to keep it from dropping stitches. So you can see this has been a loyal and faithful friend for a long time. Matt, I want to thank you personally for having the patience of a saint. I want to thank your subscribers for being patient and doing everything that we had done to bring the Tango back to life. I want to thank each and every one of you guys for everything, for even allowing me to have the opportunity to do what we had done for the Tango. Um, Matt, I am dead certain that if it had been any different, the turnaround time on this would not have been what it was. And I gravely apologize deeply from the bottom of my heart. But because this was a job for lupus awareness, I wanted to step up and do this. Unfortunately, because of everything that was going on, uh, yeah, raw machines. It says a lot of people went into these. A lot of work went into those. Let me see if I can bring that back up. A lot of the work went into these seats, regardless of what people's opinion is on colors. It's a very hard job being an auto trimmer. Um, Raw machines, I appreciate that. I appreciate that very much. Um, uh, like I said, I wear my emotions on my sleeves. I can tell you, um, I'm not as suicidal as I used to be. I take happy pills these days. I'm not the kind of person that I used to be. My tolerance levels are way higher than expected. Um, uh, I can tell you that suicide is just as much a disease as anything out there. Um, and I have entertained the thought a couple of times. But I've got too much to live for these days. I am a Jesus freak to the core. I love my wife. I love everybody around me. I love the comments that have come in on the reviews of the Tango seats. But some of those comments were a real game changer for me. Um, I don't want you guys to think of this as a clown car. This is not, by any stretch of the imagination, a clown car. That would imply that the work and craftsmanship that went into this was cheesy at best. Don't go there, folks, unless you are willing to sit behind a sewing machine and compete with the work that was done. Please don't make those kind of comments. They're not friendly, they're not nice, and you're not a nice person if you do that. So, with that being said, and it wouldn't matter if you typed into the room, cover cats, I wish you would die. That's not going to happen, dude. I am not wound up that tight. So, um, I really had to have a little bit of cool off time before I started up this live video stream to let you guys know that I stand in awe of everything that Matt does. He has the patience of a saint. You would follow his example. He is the one that actually allowed me to do this job. He is the one that I was dealing with. If anybody was upset, or anybody could have been upset, it should have been Matt, but he wasn't. He was very friendly when he came down here, very talkative when he came down here, talking about the trip down here and talking about the trip that he had to make back up there in a cool lime green. I think it was a Ford Fusion. It was a cool looking car. But anyway, he came down here. He got the seats. We loaded them up. He stopped me on the door panels because he has to do some adjustments on there. Matt, I wish you all the luck in the world on getting those things wrapped. Um, you will have to pull from all different directions because whenever you do a river or a line like this, what I call a yin yang, whenever you do something like that, you have to pull from all directions. So be advised, that's going to be a task. The orange material that you saw, which looked like a plaid orange, is actually Volkswagen original material with 1/8 of an inch foam padding behind it. And we felt like we needed to go ahead and use that and pad up the door panels so that the terrain that the door panels actually had, there were just little bits and pieces of glue and stuff like that when we put it on there originally with, I think we called this stuff batting or whatever it is. It's this stuff right here. And when we put this on there, I was not happy with it, so I had peeled it right off, and that's when I got the knock. That's when Matt came over, and I said, "Okay, out of time." So I let him in, and we talked for a while, and I went and got the seats for him and showed him. We actually was going to go ahead and set them in the upright position right here, so that we could take a picture. I said, "You know what, Matt? Just go ahead and let's take a picture, and upload it and do a review and all that kind of stuff, and see what everybody thinks about it." Because I was kind of curious. I wanted to know what you guys thought about it, and you know. Stupid me, like I said before, I do wear my emotions on my sleeve. I don't mean to, but that would be like, okay, you spend hours and hours baking a cake, and someone, that one person, says, "Man, this stuff tastes like horse crap." Well, how am I supposed to feel? I put my heart and my blood, sweat, and tears into something, and I get reviews like Barbie car, clown car. We don't, you know, how would I react? I don't know. The people that are actually making those comments maybe should try to stand in my shoes just for one day. I'm over here and try to sew anything up. Um, Try to even do what I've done. Um, I would take and respect the comments of another upholstery shop. I would listen to those because when it comes from another upholstery shop, then, and I could see their work compared to my work. Well, I'll tell you what, go look at the Deep Pockets edition where um, I took some Silverado seats and shaved the armrest, did some double top stitching everywhere all along it, and put some grommets in there, the big, huge grommets in the side of the seats that actually light up when the courtesy lights come on when you open the door. They light up red. So, um, do a review on those seats. Um, but guys, let's leave that Tango alone because that was, you know, that was first rate. The only reason that we're dealing with the wrinkles on those headrests is because we did not have time to add additional padding to go up in there. Now, I'm sure that if that sits out in the sunlight for a good length of time, maybe about a month, 2 months out in the sunlight daily, uh, in a parking lot or something like that, in a very hot parking lot, the sun will take its toll and it will start to make that material draw up. But usually, I'll take a heat gun, like a paint stripper, and I will warm up the material and I'll start to massage it to get those wrinkles out. We didn't have that kind of time. Matt was wanting to get back on the road and get back up to Ohio where uh, he does his best work. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I want to thank Matt. I want to thank all the comments that came in, even the bad ones. Come on, guys, clown car. I'm not even going to go there. Um, in this world, everybody's a critic, but they don't want to step up and do the work. Step up and do the work and then understand where I'm coming from, what it's like to be in my shoes every day. But, and I'll try not to wear my emotions on my sleeve anymore. Hopefully, you guys will have a good year in 2019. Thanks for tuning in.